pain or other things, being a cab driver or working in a superstore, it actually doesn't put me down.
Okay, so here we go. Drinking some apple juice. Hello, this is Waswo X Waswo coming to you from Udaipur, and today we're talking to a very special artist who's not in India, but he's an Indian immigrant to the United States. And I always think of him as a printmaker, but he's just an incredible artist on all levels. So I want to introduce right away Mr. Sajal Sarkar. How are you
Yeah,
today?
I'm good. Vasu, how are you?
I'm fine. Where are you coming from today?
I'm at home right now, and yeah,
Where is home?
few years back, and 5 years back exactly, I was in India, and I decided uh, to migrate to USA.
So
There are several
where is home
reasons.
though? Are you in Boston or where?
Yeah, right now I am in New Jersey.
New
Yeah,
Jersey.
yeah.
Ah, okay. And are you teaching there?
I teached, yes, the last 3 years, I think. Yeah. Uh, yeah, last year everything was stopped due to pandemic. I
Yeah.
teached in an art center. I teached to the school kids basically in elementary and other classes. So those all are part-time thing.
And you had COVID, you said.
I'm sorry.
You had COVID-19.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes. On January 15th, I tested positive, and
of this
since
year.
then I'm suffering a little bit, and it's on and off kind of. So it takes a lot of time and energy.
I don't know if I've had it or not. I like to think that I haven't, but I haven't really had symptoms. I think if I had it, I
Yeah,
would
that
know.
that was also happened with so many people, with my wife also. So it was
Yeah.
not detected properly, but it was there.
So where in India were you born?
I born in Kolkata. Means
Okay.
earlier it was Calcutta. I prefer to say it Calcutta.
So you're
By
Bengali.
some, I'm a Bengali.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So
Okay, and you're sweet like a Bengali.
my goodness.
So tell us about your
I
art. I was just looking at your website and I was looking at your recent work. I have it written down here, okay? So I
Mhm.
was looking at this pen on ink, which is called Jivisha, Desire to Live. That's such a beautiful piece. It's really, you want to start there and just tell me about that a little bit?
Yeah, that one is the last work of mine. Last means the latest one. It took 3-4 months because of lack of space, basically. The current space is actually very good for a family of four. Unless there is a practicing artist with all his baggages of 30 years, the place really shrink like an inch.
Right.
So I encroach their space. I have put all of my stuffs, my art materials, means supplies and my works, and it take a lot of space under the bed everywhere. My work and other things are there. So I have to compromise with the working space basically.
So your
So
studio is in your home
yes,
and you live with your wife and your son,
son and daughter.
son
My
and
daughter
daughter
is very
both.
younger. She is in 8th grade right now. My daughter is in college, so there is a big gap of between
Okay.
them. The
No.
thing is, problem is this particular apartment where we moved last year, exactly 1 year ago. This has a carpet flooring, so which I don't like at all. and it's very difficult to work on the floor. I generally work on the floor. Um, so in India, there was a lot of space. I have my own studio. Everything was as per my desire. So I left
Yeah,
everything.
carpets aren't made for artists.
Oh
You
no,
know,
it's
they're
it's
not made
horrible.
for
It's
artists.
horrible.
And they're kind of a cold climate thing. Having carpets is for cold climates to keep your floor
Uh,
warm, you know.
yeah.
But
So I have to place some big plyboard on the floor and make it like me, like my
you know,
work.
I often tell young artists here who dream about going to the US or something, I say, you don't know how lucky you have it here in India.
Oh,
You know,
exactly,
you don't
exactly.
know how
I
lucky you have it here in India because
exactly.
studio rents can be fairly cheap. You get beautiful studio spaces here fairly cheap.
Everyone have their own studio. Even he or she has a very poor economical condition. Then
Right.
also they have their own studio. Now I am
And
quite envy of them.
and travel is rather inexpensive here. So is
Yeah.
shipping, you know, if you ship Gati or whatever. I mean, shipping is horribly expensive in the
Yes,
US.
yes, 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 yes.
So it's
Everything.
very
So
difficult.
we can go back to that work, which is called actual name is Jijivisha. Jijivisha is a Sanskrit word, and exactly there is no such English meaning basically. And I found it by my search in Google and other places. So it's a desire to leave. The meaning is which I find quite appropriate with the work.
And it's done on many separate sheets of paper. It's collaged, correct?
Yes, yes, yes. It is 27 pieces.
27
27
pieces.
pieces. Because of my space, I thought, okay, I can make a larger work, which I am actually doing since last 2, 3 years. So sometimes I'm working under a desk, sometime in a corner of a bedroom, and making 14 feet long work. So, so this is the only way to take a different kind of strategy. So,
Right.
and nothing can stop you if you have that very strong desire. No one can stop to make whatever the
Oh,
size you want to do.
so you did
So
another large work which was called Birth of God, which was watercolor. And what was the
yes,
other one? Void of Infinity. You have a whole series of Void of Infinity. Do you want to talk
yes.
about those at all?
Void of Infinity. Actually, I when I migrated here and before migrating also in Baroda, and last 2 years or last 3 years, I find I'm stuck somewhere. I feel life is so boring. I can't work. I can't think. Everything is very much human face or expression oriented. I can't visual something else, and which I really don't like. And I was quite unhappy with my own work. Complete stagnancy, I find. So, and suffocation, just meeting same people, same kind of thing, very small. Baroda is such a small city. So, and you can't see the exhibitions and other things which can give you some new, fresh energy to think. So, other people can manage, but somehow I couldn't handle those things. And at the time, we got that opportunity. It wasn't very older process. 10 years ago, my wife's mother-in-law actually filed something for our daughter, and we actually ignored that for since long. I have no idea, no plan to move somewhere else. But when that file opened, I thought, okay, this is an opportunity
Right.
to see something new, which I actually looking for.
And actually, that's one thing the US is good for. You have a lot of exhibition spaces, there's a lot of art to
Exactly,
see, a lot of
exactly.
museums, all of
And
that.
yes, exactly. I find this is a blessing for me. Though life is very tough. I will say you a little bit what I have done, because it's really no one can think at my stature who was reasonably stable, settled in his career and doing entirely a different thing, not by his choice, but he had to do that. There was no other option.
Right, right, right.
So in your family, you have to contribute something. Everyone is working. Even my son, in a very young age, he is also working, earning something. And the person, me, I thought, okay, I had a show here in 2007, and it was a very successful show. I got a lot of money. I thought, okay, that thing will be continuing here. Oh my goodness, it was such a
You mean you had a
huge bubble.
successful wait, you had a successful show in India, and when you came to the US, New Jersey, you thought it would continue?
No, not exactly. I had a show with Icon Gallery in
Oh, with Icon.
2017.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, and in Palo Alto, and it was a huge success.
Oh,
So
good,
all of the
good.
works, mostly every 80% of the works were sold. And
Well,
I got in.
Icon's a good gallery.
Yes, and for that idea, okay, I thought, okay, same thing will happen. I was in touch with them, but somehow it didn't work.
Right.
And the I was in a bubble, and that bubble burst very badly.
Right.
And the thing which actually worked for me to empty it myself, there was a process actually which I was carrying for long, and slowly when I moved here, I find a very new and different kind of world. I visited 3 4 times earlier also because my in-laws, and for some other reason, for exhibition of Icon Gallery and some one residency. So I came here, but that was a view of a visitor. That was a very dreamy and beautiful, beautiful things. Only visiting some sophisticated, top-notch people and art-oriented people, visiting galleries. Those are different kind of time. But when I came here and I have to work and I have to earn things which are huge competition, which are very quality competition, and I assess and evaluate myself that I am not that in level what I was earlier thinking.
Yeah, yeah,
Even
yeah.
I evaluate my work when I have seen so many great shows in several good museums, some galleries, and I have seen a lot of shows. Every time I feel I am so lucky, I'm so lucky, I'm so blessed to see all of these things. But my life changed to, it put me a basic level as a normal human being, not an
Right,
artist.
right.
And very few people know, and very close friends are actually aware about that, that uh, I drive cab also.
Oh, you do? You're driving a taxi. Oh my God.
Yes, yes, yes.
So you
For
never know who your
6.
taxi driver is. That's why whenever I get into taxis, I always talk to them, especially in the US, because many times, taxi drivers like in New York tend to be Indian, Pakistani, or Iranian generally. And I always talk to them, especially the Indian ones, because many times they turn out to be interesting people, you
Mm,
know?
yes. So I was, I drive, I think, for around 6 months, complete, I have given 450 ride. I tried to talk so many people, and I make a dialogue with them, all strangers to me. I'm completely a new person with a broken kind of language, different kind of body language, new
Right,
culture, new road sense, new traffic sense. So it was a complete adventure for me. And I find the life as an artist and life as a common human being is so different, and it is so tough. And life taught me a lot of lesson to my actual place. So, Sajal, this is your place. You have to learn things from here. So I have learned my art also differently. That is why
So,
my work
so,
changed.
so you feel you've adapted to the US. I mean, do you ever think of coming back to India?
Not really. I'm enjoying. I'm really enjoying.
You're
And
enjoying
uh,
being where you are.
yeah, it's not enjoying means I am very. Every time I'm happy. There are a lot of difficulties, pain, so many things. But I find okay. This is a good place for me.
Right. So let's talk more about your art.
Yeah.
You had a really beautiful piece that I like called Dissection of a City, I think it is.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Dissection of a City.
Yeah.
What is that
Cross
about?
section. That's a blue color.
Yeah, Dissection of
Indigo.
a City. I think it's indigo, yes.
Mhm. Indigo, I actually started while I was in India, and at the end of my India stay, I think 2016, January, February, sometimes like that. And suddenly this forms came to me. I was not exactly looking for and practiced for that kind of shapes, a nervous system of a city. So it accidentally happened. And I find, okay, something is showing to develop, and it is actually I got certain kind of feel to develop that thing in a different way. So I've started that work, and I have finally completed the work after moving here, and that's the beginning of my uh, non-representational work.
Okay.
And when I visit Masmoka, it's Massachusetts Museum of Contemporary Art with one of my artistic friend. And when I see Saluit's work of 3 floor, I was completely moved by the scale, the design aspect, the philosophical aspect, which was completely changed my mindset.
Yeah.
And with that, James Torrell, James Torrell light, and those two artists actually give me so much energy, so much power to live. So the pain or other things, uh, being a cab driver or working in a superstore, it actually doesn't put me down. So uh, those vibration actually keep me alive. And
Well,
I
there are times in India, you're going to laugh, but there are times when, the money isn't flowing real well. Sometimes the sales get slow or whatever. And I actually
Mhm.
think, well, I should be running a chai shop or something. At least there would be a money flow coming in. But um,
Yes, I get that taste, that the crazy time I faced, and I was so much surprised that people like me, I'm a very, I consider myself a very mediocre kind, middle level of artist. I'm not that uh, very higher level or market. I
well,
was
I
not
wouldn't say
in
that.
that
You're
much demand,
you're
but
you're
people
good.
come with a lot of money, offering a lot of money. I thought, what is going on?
Yeah.
And I couldn't handle those things really, and it gives me very uncomfortability with those kind of amount, because I'm coming from a poor family, means middle class. You can say a lower middle class in Calcutta. I think I'm still belong to that family only, and I feel more comfortable, and I can breathe properly as a lower middle class person. But with that certain excessive money, and some people are coming to your place and without taking the uh, painting or work, this is advance. They're paying as an advance. So what is going on? So that crazy things naturally, that is a cancer of growth. That is a unnatural growth is cancer. So it goes, and it is good for the people who are now practicing. They can actually feel the reality of market.
Well, I feel I was born into a lower middle class family, actually. They ran a grocery store, but it was in the suburbs of Milwaukee, and they had a nice little parcel of land. So it was it was your typical suburban white picket fence type of house, but it wasn't that large. And my parents struggled to make ends meet. You know, they certainly weren't wealthy. Um, and over my life, things changed, and I kind of got lucky in some levels, and I made a little money and blah, and I got more comfortable to the point that I could, you know, pursue my art. But to this day, I always, because when I was younger, I worked in a print shop. I worked in a silkscreen printing shop for, God, 16 years, you
Mhm.
know, and to this day, I feel the most comfortable with working class people generally. I mean, they're kind of my kind of people. And yeah,
Exactly.
I can go to Delhi or New York and put on the suit and tie and schmooze
Ex-
if I have to. But I always feel like I'm putting on a little show, and I feel like the most happy when I'm just hanging around with average people. You know, in
exactly.
Udaipur here.
I
Yeah,
worked in a store, a wholesale store of Walmart, and I worked with Spanish people and other people, and I worked as a laborer kind of things to lift things and to push it to somewhere to help the people carrying a chunk of meat.
right.
so, so the thing I am merely observing myself. Oh my goodness! I was in a opening reception, completely a different person, and now I'm a different person. When I talk to them at lunch hours, and we all are saying so many different kind of things, and I find it is more comfortable. I have that breathing space. And sorry to say, don't mind my please don't mind the
No,
art community. Don't feel bad, but there was a judgmental thing as per your gallery representation. If you don't have that, you consider not to say even hello. So I felt so many times that
you're
kind of
talking
thing.
about your financial background with the art community. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah.
Yes,
Well, I
yes.
remember years ago when I lived in Milwaukee, and I was quite friendly with the local art critic there, who really gave me some of my first reviews when I was just showing my own photography. And, you know, he told me one time, he said, well, you should go to New York, you know, possibly. But then he said it would help if you came from like a Texas oil baron family who had you had lots of rich Texan relatives. You know, because then the galleries would be much more eager to take you on because they're going to assume that all your rich relatives are going to make
Exactly.
purchases. So I mean, this is life, but it's always been this way. I mean, people think it's unfair, but I mean, I think it's been this way since at least I don't know, the Renaissance, you know, depends a little
Even
on family
it's
connections.
okay. I should not complain about the things because this is a reality. This is a reality.
Right.
So yeah, it's fine. It's fine with them. I'm fine with some other places.
But there's always people who make it up the ladder who, you know, like Basquiat or Keith Haring, people who came from very simple, humble backgrounds and yet climbed the ladder in New York and made it to the top. So the Museum of Modern Art was very, very late in buying a Keith Haring. They always kept him at a distance because Keith Haring didn't do the game properly through the proper channels. He made his name in the popular media. And so the
Yeah,
Museum of Modern Art always held that against him, that he wasn't a serious artist because he hadn't been properly vetted by the critics, you know.
exactly,
Um,
exactly, exactly.
so
So many things you can't even show your work. I've tried a lot. I can't. I fail to present my work. There was no judgment. There was nothing. No evaluation. Nothing. So without any proper curator or someone should be behind you who can help you. So I don't have any kind of that kind of connection.
Yeah. But you sort of fondly remembered in India, I think. A lot of the printmakers always remember your printmaking. You know, that's why I've often thought of you as a printmaker because the printmakers will say, oh, Sajal Sarkar makes very good prints.
Uh,
What's your background in printmaking?
I moved to Baroda. I must say a little bit about my Calcutta life.
Okay.
Yeah, because there is all connected. Calcutta, Baroda, and USA all have a similar kind of story of moving. When I was quite settled in, started sensing that kind of settlement in stability in Calcutta. And 3 4 years I have worked as a freelance artist, and I got the recognition from the art lover, the art buyer, the connoisseur, whoever. And suddenly one of my friend insist me and almost forced me to study. Okay, go. We should go to Baroda and learn paintmaking and do something. I thought, okay. So there was no such plan to do MFA or means masters or something like that. So with his insistence, I moved to Baroda and started learning and studying printmaking. And with the help of Bagodi and some of my classmates, actually, I was not very much technically good. So I always taken help. Boss, please do this thing for me. And everyone was so friendly and so good to me. So they help a lot.
Well, Vijay Bagodi's a wonderful
Yeah,
teacher,
Vijay
and
Bagodi,
everybody.
I find Vijay Bagodi is my teacher, mentor, friend in
Yeah, everybody
printmaking.
loves him, you know.
Yes. Yes. So even Dhumal also inspired me a lot because of my drawing skill, my figurative drawing skill, and that was my main reason to get that admission in that faculty.
I want to go to your drawings a little bit because I'm really enamored with your drawings. So, which I think are really beautiful. One that caught my eye was called Preacher of Nationalism.
Okay, so
And it's on your way. Oh, that's a beautiful one. Want to talk about
thank
it?
you.
There's a
Yes,
couple there emerge from the dark and also for the people and the wall.
the
I think the
wall, I
wall
have
was a
done it here.
watercolor.
Yes,
The
it's here.
wall.
I have completed. It's
Talk about
painting.
those a little. I pick one and talk about it.
Okay, so the first one is Emerge from Dark. It's done in 2001. And it is the main reason my first visit to US. I got that money from that work, and it was a commission work. The person who gave me that commission, uh, he actually bought a ticket for three of us. Means at that time the family was three, and give some money for expenses. So there was no such amount for that work. It was only the tickets and that pocket money kind of
Okay,
thing.
well, that's a good
And
start.
yes, and a good friend of mine who was a diplomat in Israeli embassy, he actually one of my art collector also at the time, and he helped me to get that visa because I don't have any kind of property to show that I will be back in US. There was not such convincing thing. So I was very much poor at the time.
Yeah,
And
that's hard. You always have to convince the US government that you will not stay there.
exactly,
You have to
exactly,
return.
exactly. So my diplomat friend actually gave me that opportunity to get that visa. So I got it very easily without any interview even. There was no interview. So only, okay, you are Sajal Sarkar, you have an account, you know this person, okay, done. Get 10 years visa.
Oh,
So,
wonderful. 10 years. That's good.
yeah. So, and I visited, my first visit to any foreign land was that. Okay, my international with travel. So I don't know anything how to behave, uh, travel in a foreign land. So anyway, there was my relatives were there. That is why I could visit that. Otherwise, there was no way. So those the work was a certain theme from that person who actually gave me that uh, commission work, and there was a about it was about life. The person is trying, one person is moving forward and getting obstacles in life, and sometimes fall into and again move forward. So that was that very basic idea concept of the work, and
So,
I
okay,
could.
so this propelled you to make the move. So let's talk about the wall, because I don't know if I'm interpreting it right, but I'm interpreting the wall to be about immigration too. Or am I wrong?
No, in between that, preachers of nationalism will come
Creatures
because
of
it has
nationalism. Okay.
done in, it was done in 2015, 16 somewhere, sometimes. There was a series of work actually. It is with other four works. So there was a movement started. There was a very strong student movement started in Delhi. Uh, it was government intervention in education system and other things, and it became very, very strong. And I was immediately, I was very much emotionally attached with that student agitation. And
What
it
was this? The
was
NRC and the
no,
CAA?
no, 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 it
Oh,
was the
different.
first movement of a JNU.
Okay.
So it was very forcefully, government was trying to stop
Changed the
that.
university.
Yes, and
That's
then
when Kanya
very
Kumar gave that wonderful speech and all of
exactly,
that. Yeah, I
exactly,
remember.
exactly. The
I
rise
listened
of,
to that
yeah,
speech, and even though I don't understand Hindi, I could recognize the power in it. So,
so I was very much motivated, and there was a lot of anger in me, within me, and it was that emotional outburst in four pen and ink work. So
right.
that is one of them. So it is someone is forcefully teaching you about nationalism and the importance of nationalism. I don't need it from you, and you are, for me, you are a completely uneducated, and that kind of person who is giving me that kind
Yeah.
of preaching.
Yeah.
So it is a forceful thing. The demon, it was a big figure, which is a evil force, and the common people is forcing you out. The next one, the next drawing is the wall. Wall is again very much politically motivated work. And it is about, I think, on 2019, maybe, there was a very strong decision taken in one part of India, and basic human rights were grossly violated for a long time. It is still not completely okay. So, you know what I mean. There are very difficult, these are not the time to explain everything very openly. So
Right.
I'm not going
But
to.
it wasn't Trump's wall. It was
It
a
was
different.
not Trump's wall, but it is
Okay.
also a similar kind of thing.
Right.
This is actually a resistance of common sufferer people who is suffering from their basic rights. Okay, so these are the backbones, or uh, what is called.
The
Please,
backbones of
please.
society. We use the term the salt of the earth, forming a
Yeah, the other.
resistance together. So the wall
Yes,
basically
yes,
is
yes,
the
yes, yes,
average
yes.
people.
Yes, yes.
Am I
Sometimes I lost
interpreting
a
right?
very
The wall
common
is the
word.
average people.
Sometimes uh, so sometimes I really lost all of a sudden, and I find it completely blank. at the time.
It happens to me,
Anyway,
and I'm a native English speaker, and it happens to me too. So, but,
so that part I put as a resistance, and that black hole kind of thing, and so many textures. I actually drip a lot of different kind of ink on that to get that effect. And the work also inspired by one of the work of Hans Hack or someone, I can't remember. I have seen a very good show here in New Museum in New York. So I get that kind of few stuff actually I borrow.
okay.
And I find this is very appropriate with my work. I don't have that shame that okay, I am inspired from that artist's work, and it's okay, it's fine, it's not an issue, because there is no such very
Well,
purity or
all artists play
originality.
back and forth with each other. I mean, what's the quote by Picasso that bad artists copy and great artists steal?
Yes, yes, yes. No,
It's
this
like,
is only few kind of textural things, so that actually help to develop the surface, and
right.
not the concept, not the concept should be it should be original or uh, someone's very own. Concept should not be still.
No, the
But
concept should not be stolen, but sometimes you make references. I
yes,
do.
yes, 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 yes. Our life is full of references. I
You
can't
know, I was
deny.
for this interview, I was going to wear my puggree just to give an Indian feel here, but I realized I can't wear it with my headphones on.
Yeah. There is a similarity between your background, but I can see two work of KG Subramaniam. Even I have also the same
Yes, I noticed you
on
have the
that
KG
corner,
Subramanian behind you.
and
Yeah.
Bhupen Thakkar is also there. There is Ram Kinkar Beige and
Oh, nice. I have a
KG
Ramkin
Subramaniam
beige
again.
etching, but it's in my living room.
Okay. So I collect also few work.
Yeah.
I bought from the gallery even sometimes
Good.
directly from the artist. When I have that extra amount, I still prefer, if I have money, I will go India
Well,
and buy.
I feel if you're an artist and you're doing kind of well, it's nice to support other artists by buying work.
Exactly, exactly.
Anyway, this is getting kind of long, and I don't like them to go much beyond a half hour, and I think we've already done that. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna say goodbye. So
Okay.
what you have to do now, you have to wave at the camera and say goodbye.
Okay. Goodbye, Vaso. Goodbye, everyone. Stay
Goodbye,
well.
Sajal. Okay, everybody, please remember to like and subscribe to Evil O, and see you next time. Bye. Drinking some apple juice.
I'm also having my coconut water
Oh, good.
because